ESPN's College Football Primetime brings us to the Champ Sports Bowl in Orlando. Cool, clear night, and the Miami Hurricanes haven't played a bowl game in their home state in almost 6 years. Tonight they get their chances. They take on the Wisconsin Badgers. Happy holidays. Welcome to Orlando, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler along with Todd Blackledge. Partner, you and I have been around here for about 3 days now, and in the land of theme parks, Disney theme parks, the theme so far for these two teams is let's go get number 10 on the season.
You know what? 10 is only one more than 9. Both these teams with 9 wins, but it's huge because that double-digit win sounds better and looks better to potential recruits that both these teams are pursuing, to alumni and donors of both these schools, and it adds more juice and motivation to the off-season conditioning program. So winning the 10th game is very, very significant for both these teams.
Wisconsin hasn't beaten a ranked team this year, and they hope that would propel them maybe into the preseason top 15 next year. Same thing for Miami. You talk about preseason next year, I would think a guy on the short list for the preseason player of the year in the ACC is in this game, and a guy that's already a player of the year for the Wisconsin Badgers is in this game.
Two very talented sophomores for Wisconsin. Their tailback, John Clay, a big, powerful downhill runner who was really on a roll at the end of the season, averaged 136 yards per game and scored 9 touchdowns. Miami's quarterback, Ja'Cory Harris, a guy who has great poise. He has tremendous arm talent. He can make any throw you want. Sometimes he trusts his arm a little bit too much and throws it where he shouldn't. Has had some problems with interceptions, but when he takes care of the football, he is as good as anybody in the country at the quarterback position.
Both teams come in having won 4 of their last 5. Let's go down. Third member of our team on the field is Holly Rowe. Holly?
Well, Todd, you said Ja'Cory Harris is pretty good, and he's even better when he has some protection up front. That may be an issue tonight with the new left tackle, especially because Wisconsin's defensive front is very good. O'Brien Schofield, their end, is second in the country in tackles for loss with 22. And oh, you better know where number 44 is. That's Chris Borland, a linebacker. This kid does it all. He's a true freshman. He has an interception this year, a punt return, a punt block, 4 sacks. He's second on the team in tackles for loss, 5 forced fumbles, and oh yeah, he's kicked 3 PATs, and he's the backup punter tonight. So watch out for number 44.
It's a clear night, but it is chilly. 49 degrees. Yesterday, the winds were very strong. Thankfully, they have died down, or the kicking game would have been a problem tonight for both teams. Bret Bielema, his 4th year, as I mentioned, as head coach. His first 2 years, 21-5. He won 12 games in his rookie season as the head coach in Madison. Taking over for Barry Alvarez, the Hall of Famer, who will go in the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame later this week. Randy Shannon, been with his program for more than 20 years as a player, assistant, and now head coach in his 3rd season. This is his best year so far with 9 wins. Great crowd, everybody revved up. As the Wisconsin Badgers of the Big Ten, their losses to 2 BCS teams in Ohio State and Iowa, and then a heartbreaker in the Big Ten finale to Northwestern. Miami, they lost in overtime to Clemson. Clemson played in the ACC championship game. They beat Georgia Tech, the ACC champs. Their other 2 setbacks, Virginia Tech and North Carolina. Miami won the toss. They want the football. That means Philip Welch will tee it up for the Badgers.
You talked about both these teams with 3 losses, and it's pretty obvious for both teams when they lost games, they also lost the turnover battle pretty significantly.
Right.
And that is a huge factor tonight because of the layoff from the end of the season to the bowl game. Which team takes care of the football most consistently?
Both coaches mentioned that to us, the turnover story and who can tackle better. Sometimes you get a little bit lazy in that 3 weeks to a month between the end of the regular season and bowl time. Welch to kick. Greg Cooper and Mike James back deep for Miami. Here we go. Cooper will take it at the 4. And it's an end around coming the other way. Miami with a little razzle-dazzle right off the bat. Sam Shields might take it. He's gone. Touchdown. Flags down at the the end of the play. It's going to be celebration, but I don't think it matters to the U fans right now.
Illegal block in the back. Number 38 on the receiving team. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Take it back. Those flags were down at about the 11-yard line.
Corey Nelms is the guy who's getting an earful right now from Randy Shannon. Sam Shields is the fastest guy on the Miami team. Boy, that couldn't have been it, was it? It had to happen later on. I think it had to happen later towards the end of the play. Right there.
Right there.
And it was unnecessary.
At about the 6-yard line, it looked like.
Shields was 5 yards ahead of that defender, and he's the fastest guy in the Miami team.
Wow. So what would have been a 97-yard touchdown is at the 16-yard line. They might get it one snap anyway. They do. Touchdown. Well, if at first you don't succeed or you have a penalty, give it to Greg Cooper.
He gets a nice block on the outside by Leonard Hankerson, his wide receiver. Now, does he step out of bounds before he gets to the pylon or not?
Not there. Not there. Extra point. Matt Bosher in to try to make it 7-0 Miami. And does. Well, we had fireworks right after the national anthem or during, and we have fireworks in the first 20-some seconds of the Champ Sports Bowl. Cooper for the touchdown. 7-0 Canes. So Matt Bosher will tee it up.
That's one of those deals I look at and I say it was the kickoff return was so well conceived and so well executed, and they get the cheap penalty that takes the touchdown away. You know what? They deserve a touchdown there.
So 2 exciting plays already. See if Wisconsin's got an answer. David Gilreath back deep for the Badgers. You see Miami in unique uniforms tonight, all white, but they mix their colors of orange and green even on their shoes. One green, one orange. Gilreath from the 3. Got out maybe to the 23. Ray Armstrong made the tackle. So Wisconsin a little bit shell-shocked in the opening 20 seconds. Scott Tolzien takes the field. Quarterback was a question mark coming into the season for the Badgers. This kid's answered the call pretty well.
Really has, and he was kind of not expected to be in the hunt. You know, when the whole thing started in August, he was the 3rd-team guy. They had a talented freshman they were talking about, Dustin Shearer, the senior, who had finished the year last year. But Tolzien is the guy who came out of the pack and really played well.
Play. Cuts outside, big gainer, and a stiff arm on first down as he got it out for 5 or 6 before DeMarcus Van Dyke made the stop. Let's take a look at Wisconsin's offense and their starting lineup. And as always, a big group with Karimian Frederick, Moffitt, Zietler, and Oglesby. They blind out the sun, even though the sun's not shining. Clay, the player of the year in the conference, Toon and Gilreath, the wideouts, and really 2 very talented tight ends, especially Garrett Graham, who's the all Big Ten tight end. 2nd down at 4. Clay again. Work in the middle of that Miami defense, and he's very close to the first down. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the Canes. They'll rotate about 8 guys on their defensive fronts. The one starting, Smith, Holmes, Joseph, and Bailey. McCarthy and Sharpton and Ray Buchanan, the linebackers. Brandon Harris, an all-conference corner with Shields. We already saw his speed. Phillips and Telemac, the safeties.
First down is where Wisconsin has gotten a lot of big plays out of their passing game because of their ability to run and run play action.
On first down, Clay puts both hands around that football, as you saw, as he picked up about 3. He's not very fumble prone. One of the most important ones he had this year, though, helped Northwestern beat Wisconsin this year. But he's been very careful with the football overall.
He's listed as 248 pounds. He's probably over 250 at this point, but And he's wide. I mean, he is thick,
oh, man.
you know, and then you think about tackling him when he gets his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. That is a real load coming at you.
2nd down and 8. Tolzien, his first throw. Quickly with a tight end short of the first down, but got it to Garrett Graham. Let's take a look at our impact players tonight. Garrett Graham right on cue. 7 touchdown receptions to lead the team. A rather little used wide receiver, but keep your eye on this kid tonight, the freshman Craig Appleton. Defensively for Miami, Alan Bailey. He'll put pressure on Tolzien tonight. Leads the team in sacks and tackles for loss. Appleton's in the lineup. That's him in motion. Clay, another first down. Keeps his legs driving, follows those big eaters, especially Travis Frederick, who pulled around to lead the way.
A lot of shifting there right before the start of that play. They got an overload situation, more blockers than Miami had defenders. And right now it looks like Gabe Karimi, their starting left tackle, is down.
Junior out of Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. One of the mainstays on their line, a 325-pounder. You can see he's got braces on both knees, but he is in some pain.
Brett Bielema has said, you know, he had really been banged up towards the end of the year, and just having some time off here before the bowl was great for him. He was feeling better coming into this game than he'd felt for about the last month of the season, but they're taking a look at that right leg right now.
Bashir will come in to take that spot.
Karimi and John Moffitt, who is playing center tonight, number 74, a pair of juniors, both first team all Big Ten offensive linemen for Wisconsin. So a critical injury right now for the Badgers.
Boy, they go 325, 336, 320, 317, and 310 across their front wall. And that's been a staple of Wisconsin football for a long time, especially since Barry Alvarez took over and they started having 1,000-yard rushers virtually every season. So just when Wisconsin had started to get their offense in gear with back-to-back first downs by John Clay to move it out to the 43-yard line. You'll see on the left of the screen 68 Karimi, and you get rolled up on so many times in that area, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
He is up and trying to come off without help. There's not too many trainers that can help a guy that big anyway, but they're there for assistance. So we hope that Gabe's going to be okay. Maybe can even come back, but it's a pretty stiff-legged walk over to the Badger sideline right now. Meanwhile, it'll be first down.
You know, and you wonder why so many linemen today in college football wear those braces, even if they don't have knee problems. It's just for simply that, you know, plays like that you can't protect yourself, and you hope that just gives you a little extra protection.
First down, Badgers from their own 43. Gilreath, they fake the handoff on the end around, and it's just Clay plowing ahead right now. Out to the 46, maybe the 47-yard line. Joe Joseph made the stop. You mentioned John Clay and his size, and they list him at 249. You said he's all at 250, if not more than that. And at the Champs Luncheon the other day, he was at the table next to me just with sweat bottoms and a white Wisconsin t-shirt. And I thought he was a defensive lineman when he walked in. That's how big he is. He's filling out that 32 now. Yeah. He fills it out a little differently than P.J. Hill used to. P.J. needed bigger pants than John does, if you get my meaning. 7th play of the drive. Here comes a blitz, and that's going to pay off for McCarthy. Loss of about 3.
Yeah, that's a big play for Miami because Wisconsin on 3rd down, it's pretty obvious. They're successful when it's 3rd and short. They're successful when it's 3rd and medium. When it's 3rd and 8+, they're not very good. They guessed on the run. They ran a run blitz and got Clay in the backfield to bring up a 3rd and 10 situation.
And they're only 18%, as Todd said, when they get in these kind of situations. Gilreath in motion. In the shotgun is Tolzien. Has time. Running out of it. Down he goes. That just took too long. Maybe it's a coverage sack. Maybe Tolzien just couldn't find a guy in that mass of humanity. But he goes down for a big loss, and Wisconsin will have to punt.
I think Miami is pretty confident of their matchups on the outside against the wide receivers of Wisconsin. They like those matchups. Where they think there's a problem potentially is with the tight ends. But when it's 3rd and 10, the tight ends aren't nearly as much of a factor as the wideouts are in your pass game.
Brad Nortman to punt. Collier waits on the other end. Nice kick. A beauty. He's going to let it go, and if Wisconsin can get down there, they will inside the 10-yard line. Well, he boomed that thing.
Boy, he did.
Speaking of 7, the 7th 3,000-yard passer in Miami history. On first down, leaving out across the 15-yard line, Greg Cooper. So you hear the chants of Coop from the Hurricane fans as he's had 2 impressive runs, a 16-yard touchdown and an 8-yarder right there. And Miami's going hurry up right off the bat. Second down, a long one. Might be a double pass here. It is wide open, but incomplete.
A nice play by Devin Smith, number 10. Timed it up and came up to knock that ball away from LaRon Byrd, the intended receiver.
There, but Cooper doing a little bit of everything. That's 3rd down and short. Javaris James in the lineup. Those two interchangeable, really. Cooper and Baby James. Cooper getting a breather. And JJ takes over.
The depth of the Miami skill positions is pretty impressive. Wide receiver and running backs, they are very deep.
James gets the call on the stretch in Wisconsin with a great defensive play by J.J. Watts. Wow.
Well, you see why they were so good this year. They only averaged giving up 90 yards a game rushing, 8th in the nation. And Watts gets great penetration. He beats the tight end and the tackle. Orlando Franklin gets right into the backfield to get to the legs of Javaris James. Just an outstanding play by J.J. Watts.
And now Matt Bosher's got a kick from his own end zone. The dual kicker, both the place kicker and the punter for the Canes. So a flag down. Wisconsin pointing at Miami. Miami pointing at the Badgers.
False start. Number 9 on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. 4th down.
And now it's going to put Matt Bosher deeper in his own end zone. And I got to tell you something. Watch out for the guy out by midfield. If he gets an angle on you. Gilreath, the punt returner for Wisconsin. Very dangerous.
A 68-yard return for a touchdown against Northwestern.
Third all-time in the Big Ten in kickoff return yards. Bosher handled a bad snap. Gilreath has to run up on it to make the fair catch. Great field position for the Badgers.
Left tackle Gabe Carimi has done all kinds of tests on that right knee. He's gotten down in his stance, he's moved it around, and he seems to be pretty comfortable right now, although he's got some discomfort on the front patella area. So they're going to rewrap him up right now. They're using a different type of brace, and he's going to try to come back and play in this game. It's important because they moved their right tackle, Jake Bashir, over there to left tackle in that last series.
Yep.
And he got blown up. That caused the sack. So they need Gabe Carimi in this game right now.
No doubt about that. High backfield with Wisconsin. They got everybody in tight. Would they take a shot here, though? After the short punt. Pump fake. There's the shot. There's the man. Kendricks. Down to about the 4.
See, this is where Wisconsin gets their big plays, is on first down play action. They can go max protection. They can slip tight ends into their passing game. Kendrick was the move tight end on that play. He was in motion and then got out behind the Miami defense. Watch 84 get out behind him. They're thinking run. They came up close to the line of scrimmage, and he ran right behind the linebackers for a big gain.
Now at first and goal at the 4. You can go right back to your bulldozer offense if you choose to. And that's John Clay. Got a yard. That's about all.
Clay, the ball carrier, to the left side.
Vernon made the stop. It'll be second down and goal, Wisconsin. Trying to tie this game up midway through the first quarter.
This Miami defense has really come on down the stretch. They only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns in the last 7 games. And over the last 5 games, only 96 yards a game rushing. So they have really improved as the year has gone on in stopping the run. But a challenge here with John Clay.
3 tight ends in there, including Kendricks, who's the motion man. Clay trying to cut it outside. He'll coast to the corner. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Lance Kendrick made the big catch, and Lance Kendrick made the big block on the touchdown. Really sealed the edge for John Clay.
For John Clay, a 3-yard touchdown and his 17th of the year.
Watch number 84 again, come in motion and then just seal the edge for the big tailback.
You had Mickey Turner the mix with Byrne and Kendricks and Graham. They actually had 4 tight ends in there. And Clay follows his blockers beautifully to the pylon. Extra point, 7-7 in Orlando. Philip Welch to kick away. Last time it was a long kick return for what looked like it was going to be a touchdown. This is Greg Cooper, 2 yards deep. And Wisconsin will bring him down as he got to the 20, and that's it. Nice job by the Badgers special teams. Let's take a look back at our Mazda drive recap.
Well, the drive was really geared by Lance Kendrick, number 84. First, the big reception. The tight end, 6'4", 236, out of the backfield. And then the key block on John Clay's touchdown. Lance Kendrick, the junior tight end, sealing the deal for Wisconsin to tie the score.
So Miami starts this time with a little better field position, their own 21-yard line. Last time they started at the 8 and were forced. The short punt led to that Wisconsin scoring drive. Ja'Cory Harris saw play action as it batted down. J.J. Watts made a couple nice plays in his first quarter so far.
Yeah, fought off the block, kept his hands free, and was able to get into the face and get a hand on the football. You talk about special teams, how important special teams are in any game, particularly in a bowl game when you've had a little bit of a layoff. Miami's touchdown set up by a kickoff return, and then the exchange of punts after the good punt by Nortland. 37 yards picked up by Wisconsin led to their touchdown.
Javaris James now, the tailback, gets the call. And Wisconsin brings him down after a short gain of a couple. Let's go back to the first play of the ball game. Sam Shields, as Ledge said earlier, fastest guy on the Miami team. Look where he starts.
Yeah, he's right here, and he's going to come all the way with that speed around here and get the ball and then go down the sideline this way. I mean, you've got to be fast to run it like this. He comes all the way from the front line, takes the handoff on the 10, and then goes the other way. And really got robbed by an inadvised punt or penalty. Should have been a touchdown for Sam Shields on the opening kickoff.
Harris, low snap in the shotgun. And he's going to try to get what he can with his feet. Still trying to get to the sticks and almost did. 7-yard scramble. He's a little bit short. Talk about Sam Shields. He ran 40 yards backwards, 43 yards this way, and then about 90 that way.
Well, and that's saying something if you're saying you're the fastest guy on the Miami team, because they got a lot of fast guys.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a wide receiver for 3 years and moved to defensive back this year, and has done quite well as a cornerback as well.
Second straight 3 and out now as Bosher's got a punt.
I didn't like the way Ja'Cory Harris ran that ball. It didn't look like he wanted to run it. I think he might have been able to get the first down if he'd have just made up his mind to fire forward and run it.
Gilreath, fair catch, taken at the 35-yard line. So Wisconsin, after the early shock, survived that, tied the score. Now they've got the ball back with decent field position. Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN tomorrow with a couple of games. 4:30, Bowling Green's Falcons take on the Vandals of Idaho in the Rhodey's Humanitarian Bowl. Then at 8 o'clock, Arizona takes on Ndamukong Suh and the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN360.com tomorrow. Karimi's back in there.
Yeah, that's good news for Wisconsin. I mean, he's one of their real anchors up there in that left tackle spot, very critical on any team.
Three wide receivers set here as Clay takes it and just blasts his way off the left side. And he goes for 8 or 9 before Van Dyke runs him out of bounds.
It was interesting. Brett Bielema was saying when this guy gets going and when he's on and you hear his shoulder pads popping up and down on his shoulders, you know he's on. And that's good news for us. When you hear those pads start popping, that's a good thing for us.
What Brett and his predecessor Barry Alvarez call that is getting lathered up. Say you can get John lathered up a little bit.
Second and 1.
Second down and a yard. Miami brings everybody up close, try to stop the run, and they'll be able to. No gain, maybe a loss. Regis made the tackle. And penalty markers down. Speaking of Jairus James, there's Edgerrin, one of the greats here of all time at Miami and in the National Football League. Hubert Owens, our referee.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 8 on the offense. That penalty was 15 yards from the end of the run. It'll be third down.
Wow.
Well, we told you Craig Appleton was going to be an impact player. It's a negative impact. That's a big penalty, and it's going to move it back inside the 30-yard line.
That's big also because it was after the play, so it's still third down. You add the 15 yards at the end of the play, and there it is. And it's still third down. And again, third and long for Wisconsin is not in their wheelhouse. This is not their strong suit.
Garrett Graham, the motion man. Here's a shovel to Zach Brown, and he got out to the 39-yard line. So Wisconsin's going to have to punt it back. Be fourth down at about 6. Last time Brad Nortman hit a beauty.
Yeah.
Knocked it down inside the 10-yard line. A 57-yard kick the first time.
Well, not only did he knock it down there, the defense got a stop.
Yeah.
And then it was a short punt back, and so they gained 37 yards on that exchange of possessions, and that led to Wisconsin's tying touchdown.
See if Nortman can do it again. Very different looking formation for Wisconsin with their punt team. This one is going to be 1 or 2 hopper that's scooped up at the 15. And on the return is Collier. And he does a nice job getting it out to about the 34-yard line. 17-yard return.
I think he stepped out at the 20.
Yeah, they're going to take it back. For the game, Florida Hospital road to the Bulls. I got to tell you, number 23 for the Wolves, he's got a little something working.
Yeah.
What do you have, 3 touches, 3 touchdowns?
I think so.
They're in the red zone pretty much the whole time. Tolzien right now is in a timeout zone because he just threw another interception. So far this year, no touchdowns and 6 interceptions against ranked opponents. His passer rating against unranked opponents is like 157. That one was batted in the air, and now Ja'Cory Harris taking over, and he goes down. And O'Brien Schofield, guy that Holly mentioned in the pregame that you have to watch out for. That is his 11th sack of the year.
Well, he's very explosive off the line of scrimmage, and when Ja'Cory Harris stepped up in the pocket and tried to reload, that just took a little bit too much time. I mean, if he throws it on time, he gets rid of it before Schofield gets to him. But when he tried to reload, Schofield beat his man and got the sack.
Schofield, first team All Big Ten. One of the team captains, former linebacker, wearing that linebacker number and showing how he can come around that corner now with more bulk on that body. The 28-yard line, handoff, Cooper, and Cooper's dropped by Jay Valai from the safety position. And that's going to be a 3-yard loss in that spot. So right now the Wisconsin defense playing very well. I think the whole key, and you talked about it, partner, Ja'Cory Harris, he looks rusty and he looks unsettled right now.
Yeah, he does, and he hasn't been able to find a groove. He hasn't been able to find his main guy, Leonard Hankerson, who is his go-to receiver. He doesn't look in a very good rhythm right now, and on the same token, the Wisconsin defense has kind of settled into the game a little bit. So a lot of game left for Ja'Cory Harris, and he's very talented, but he's got to find a little bit of a rhythm.
Whoops, that's not the rhythm he was looking for. That was rhythm and blues for the offense in Miami. He was way back at the 12-yard line. That's a 12-yard loss.
Yeah, he just doesn't look right. I mean, he doesn't look as confident as he normally does, and that was an indication right there. The snap was a little bit off, but I don't think it was a snap that he couldn't have fielded.
Now here's Bosher again from his own end zone to punt. Gilreath waiting on the other end. Low snap. Bosher handles it, kicks it a mile in the air. Gilreath, fair catch, taken. Bobble a little bit, but he caught it at about the 36-yard line. Holly?
Well, guys, right now, as you said, Wisconsin looks very comfortable, and one of the reasons might be they did this bowl practice very differently because they had a late game in Hawaii and then a short time on campus, just 7 practices in Wisconsin. They didn't do a lot of kind of like spring practice with the young guys like they normally would do in bowl preparation. They had one period a day where they would let the young guys practice, but otherwise it was like a game week. They used the first week of practice like a bye week, the second week game week preparation. So these guys are dialed in. It's not like they've been off for a long layoff. They're just playing football like they just got out of the Big Ten.
That's a huge point, Holly. I'll follow up on it after the play because very different than most Big Ten teams in bowl games.
First down at the 36-yard line. Tolzien, quick drop, looks one way. Now looks for help. He's going to throw it away wisely.
You know, the next Big Ten team that we'll see in this stadium in a couple days, Penn State in the Capital One game, they played their last game November 21st, and then they've had an extended period of time between then and when they'll play. But as Holly mentioned, Wisconsin played Hawaii on December the 5th. So that 23-day layoff is the shortest turnaround heading into a bowl that Wisconsin's had since 1982. So it's much easier to keep your team in sync and keep them in rhythm and prepare that way. And they had 2 bye weeks this year before Purdue and before Hawaii, and they handled it the same way.
Second down at 36. Weaving his way is Clay. John Clay, the big man, down the sideline, all the way down inside the 15-yard line. He got the rock back and he held on to it that time.
Well, take a look at Travis Frederick, number 72, gets a big block. He cuts right behind him, and then a couple missed tackles. Again, John Clay, you're not going to bring him down with arm tackles. You better wrap him up, and you better hit him below the buttocks if you want to get him on the ground.
That takes a lot of wrapping.
Yeah.
Down to the 12-yard line. Big smile on the big fella's face. He'll get a breather as Monty Ball takes his spot. And now Miami's going to take a timeout, their second. With 9:37 remaining in the half, Canes are down to 1 timeout. Brett Bielema's Wisconsin Badgers threatening in the red zone right now against Miami. And Brett's been with some good coaches, played for and coached under the old Fox, Hayden Fry, Kirk Ferentz at Iowa, Bill Snyder, I mentioned he was co-defensive coordinator at Kansas State, and then defensive coordinator and coach in waiting under Barry Alvarez. That's some pretty good people. There's Bear going in, as I mentioned, to the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame coming up in the next week after going into the Wisconsin Hall of Fame about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Enjoying the good life of the athletic director job at Wisconsin.
Tell you what, I think one of the biggest things for Wisconsin in this game was the return of Gabe Carimi, because of just his presence and leadership coming back into the game, showing that he's going to play with some mental and physical toughness, and lending his leadership and presence to this Wisconsin offense.
Not to mention not putting a doubt in his quarterback's mind about that blind side. Kendricks broke 1 tackle, and that's going to be it. So Wisconsin tried a little bit of razzle-dazzle at the end around of their tight end, and that didn't work.
And Daryl Sharpton there, this guy has really come on for the Miami defense. He finished the regular season with back-to-back games of 12 tackles. He's played all 3 linebacker positions in his career. He moved to the middle this spring and has really blossomed here, particularly in the second half of the season. Team's leading tackler with 91 tackles and a very physical middle linebacker.
Now if Wisconsin's going to take a shot, they can get it down to the 2-yard line with a first down. Gilreath in motion. They fake the end around. Throw over the middle to Graham. Garrett Graham, and he is very close, and now they might go for it.
Wow.
He got within a yard.
Nice play, really well designed. They fake the end around and then slip the tight end, kind of a middle tight end screen, and tried to hide him in between those linemen. Watch 89. Sells it, and then just kind of slip him the football, and you got linemen blocking downfield because the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage to the tight end.
And now Wisconsin, short yardage, 3rd and 1. John Clay back in, as you might expect, with Mickey Turner in front of him and 3 tight ends. The beef package, John Clay, left side, touchdown.
Wow, Kendrick again with a huge block.
Second touchdown of 3 yards for John Clay.
Well, Garrett Graham got him down there with the pass, and now watch Kendrick come around and again get the big block right on the edge.
Carbon copy almost of the last one, although this was a kick-out block on Randy Phillips. Last time he sort of sealed off that edge, and now the extra point is up. A knuckleball that's good, and Wisconsin has its first lead of the night. This guy's kind of tough to handle, especially when you got about 15 tight ends out there and 6 tackles and 4 guards in the center, and it's 14-7. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. DirecTV will soon make capabilities for 200 channels in HD. You can call 1-800-DirecTV and check it out. Happy holidays with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe. Brad Nessler with you in the Champ Sports Bowl, where Wisconsin's got the lead now, courtesy of number 32. With 2 3-yard touchdown runs. That one capped a 64-yard march in 5 plays. The big chunk of it was his, a 52-yard gallop, and Wisconsin by touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it is critical that that guy Ja'Cory Harris gets it together. I mean, he is the leader of this team, and as he goes, so this Miami team goes.
Down to the 10-yard line. Mike James weaving his way across the 20 out to maybe the 22-23-yard line. Ja'Cory Harris had some great games this year, and then he had some times when things didn't go well, like November 14th at North Carolina. North Carolina's got a heck of a defense, but he was only 28 for 50. He threw for 319 yards, but he threw only 1 touchdown. He threw 4 interceptions, and 2 of those were returned for touchdowns. Now, it hasn't been that bad so far tonight, but I think as Todd's made very clear, if number 12 doesn't settle in pretty soon, Miami might find themselves in a hole they can't dig out of. Tied with Jevon Snead of Ole Miss for the most interceptions on the season with 17.
He's got to find Hankerson, too. That's his go-to guy.
He's going to find another sack right now.
Well, you know, Holly made the point in the beginning of the game about protection and how important that was for Ja'Cory Harris or any quarterback. This is a team coming into the game that had given up 30 sacks. That's 91st in the nation. And a couple more tonight so far. So those things don't help a quarterback settle down. If he doesn't have confidence that he's going to have time, then his eyes start focusing on rushers and not defensive backs and coverages.
Right now he's got happy feet, and he's not getting any happy results. And he doesn't have his big left tackle, though the one he's got in there has played extensively this year. But Wisconsin's bringing all kinds of pressure that so far the Canes haven't handled. Harris, deep drop this time, fires, completes to Hankerson, the guy that Todd just talked about. His first catch, but it's only good for 7 yards.
There is a flag down that was before the play started.
It's a motion penalty against Miami. Randy Shannon's team was 4-4 in the conference last year and 7-6 overall, so a 2-game improvement in the overall record. And considering some of the people they played early in the season, they had a murderer's row schedule in the first month and a half of the year. Hubert's going to keep trying that microphone, and it's still not working. But you get the drift, and it moves back to the 22, just outside the 22-yard line. And it's 2nd down and 19. 7 minutes remaining in the half. Javaris James, you look from behind number 5, playing tailback now. Cooper's got the touchdown tonight for Miami. Quick drop. Throws over the middle. And it is complete to Collier, who's been a busy guy tonight. Miami's going to go hurry up. Wisconsin's trying to change bodies, and I don't know if anybody's going to get anything done. Harris fires complete, and it's good for a first down. Jimmy Graham, second time the ex-basketball player turned tight ends, got a catch.
And that might be just what Ja'Cory Harris needs. 2 completions in a row. This one for a first down. They'd had a couple 3-and-outs on offense. They'd looked kind of stagnant. Maybe that's what he needed now to get into a groove.
They overcome second down at 19. That's pretty darn good by itself. Now to the ground game and a pickup of maybe 4 for Greg Cooper. Capital One Bowl week continues Thursday. 3 games at noon. Houston takes on the Falcons of Air Force in the Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl. And at 3:30, Navy midshipmen take on the Tigers of Missouri in the Texas Bowl. And at 7:30, Hokies of Virginia Tech against the Volunteers of Tennessee in the Chick-fil-A Bowl from Atlanta. Capital One Bowl week on ESPN and ESPN360.com on Thursday. Pretty much all day. Here we're in the Champs Sports Bowl with 5.5 to go in the second quarter. Cooper bounced off one guy and keeps the legs driving. Got within 2 yards maybe of the first down marker.
Well, Miami's going to still try to stay balanced and run the football. Again, this Wisconsin defense did something that hadn't been done very often. They held every Big Ten team they played this year under 100 yards rushing. Hadn't happened since Ohio State did it in 1998.
And the first time Wisconsin's ever done it. In fact, Wofford, those pesky Terriers, are the only team that went over 100 yards rushing against them. Both James and Cooper in there together. Harris, play action, going deep, got a man, just too far in front. Javaris James coming out of that backfield.
Boy, they had it.
Yeah.
Little wheel route out of the backfield, and got him matched up on a guy he wanted, and just a slight overthrow by Ja'Cory Harris on that one.
So close. And yet it's a punting situation for Miami. Bosher again to kick with Gilreath back deep. Gilreath immediately calls for the fair catch.
Well, that's a bad punt. You know, you have a chance to pin Wisconsin back and at least make them be conservative, and Bosher kicked that thing straight up in the air.
14-7 Wisconsin. Capital One Bowl week continues for us, ironically enough, with the Capital One Bowl coming up on New Year's Day. Only second time Penn State and LSU have ever gotten together. Back in '74 was the last time. Joe Paterno doesn't look any different now than he did 35 years ago. His 36th bowl appearance, a record for Joe Pa. Monty Ball will be in the Wisconsin backfield behind Scott Tolzien. It will be Ball. Made something out of nothing there and got out to about the 22-yard line. Todd Blackledge had a long talk with Joe Pa the other day about a lot of things, and talked to Joe about the enthusiasm of being involved in a bowl game.
We got 110, 12 kids down here in Florida. You know how many guys are going to be pros? You know, 5, 6. I got 106 guys who, you know, they're walking around and holy smokes, I'm in a bowl game. You know.
Holy smokes, we'll be there with him on January 1st in the Capital One Bowl. Second down at 7. Here comes a blitz. Tolzien, he's got a man. Kendricks, the tight end, down the sideline. Whoa. Took a wicked shot by Telemac back there, but he picked up a huge gain. So even though Garrett Graham is really the go-to guy, Lance Kendricks has been huge in this game, both as a receiver and a blocker. 23 more yards right here, Ledge.
Well, watch, he goes in motion. I think Miami thinks he's going to stay in and block, but he doesn't. He releases, and nobody picks him up out of the backfield. And because of that, a short throw turns into a long gain for Wisconsin because nobody accounted for him when he came out of the backfield.
Remember, Wisconsin's got all its timeouts right now. A first down, working toward midfield, just inside their own 45-yard line. Tune, nothing to Nick so far. At least completed. Now we got one.
First down passing for Wisconsin. They're fun to watch. When they get their running game going, they put a defense back on their heels because you have to respect the run and you have to respect play action fakes. And then that quarterback gets good protection and is able to get big chunks of yardage down the field in the passing game.
Remember, Nick Tune had that one almost catch on a great effort on the sideline, but ran out of real estate. This time he had plenty of room to work, and his first catch is good for 20. Wisconsin on the move just outside the Kane 35. 1st and 10, 3 minutes left in the first half. Tolzien again to throw. Fires it down the middle, and Garrett Graham was the intended receiver, but tipped away by Daryl Sharpton.
No, I know his ankle looked like it's bothering him, but something's not right.
Ball, ball, inside the 20.
Here's the other thing I saw over there. Miami's got heaters on their sideline. Okay, for Wisconsin, this is balmy for them. I mean, it's cool, but it's not that cold. But I think the cold is affecting the Miami players some. I really do. I don't think they're playing with a lot of juice right now compared to the Wisconsin team. And it's not just Ja'Cory Harris.
Holding call on Wisconsin. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, a lot of the Miami guys came out for pregame warm-ups, and they were shivering. They were like, woo-wee, this is cold. And they went back in and changed into these long-sleeve shirts underneath their pads. Whereas you can notice the Wisconsin guys are still all in their short sleeves. They said this is like spring in Madison. But a lot of the Miami guys in between series, they're over here huddled under this chill zone. I don't know if it's affecting them, but I can tell you they are noticing the cold.
I guarantee it's affecting them. You see all those guys huddled over there in hands and hand warmers and stuff like that. It's
shovel pass the ball again. Remember when we came on at the beginning of the ball game, right before the first offensive series, we showed you the pep rally yesterday, and Brett Bielema said, "You guys think it's cold out here? It was windy yesterday." He said, "I'm kind of praying for snow." Well, they don't have snow, but remember, it's sub 50 degrees. And as Holly and Todd are talking about, you can see all the big eaters there. They don't care. They got the sleeves rolled up. This is like September in Mantown right now.
Shorts and flip-flop weather.
You got it. Zach Brown joins the Wisconsin backfield. 3rd down and 10 for Tolzien. From the backside, the pressure comes, but he throws. Is it caught? Kendricks was the intended receiver.
I think they're calling it a catch.
I think they are too, finally.
Boy, Kendricks is having a monster night. Eric Moncour got some pressure on Tolzien, but he's able to step up and make the throw to Kendrick.
I mean, right at the last second, he let that baby go, and it was low, and Kendricks went down and got it.
See, the tight ends, that's the matchup problem that John Lovett, the defensive coordinator, was afraid of with this Wisconsin offense. Felt good on the outside, didn't feel quite so good with the tight ends.
At the 23-yard line, Tolzien play action. Waits and fires over the middle, and again it's complete. This time to John Clay. Well, it's maybe down around 46 degrees maybe here, something like that. It's 14 in Madison. So if you're watching back there at State Street Brats or someplace,
don't do it.
No, don't do it. Here comes a blitz, and it pays off. Nice job by Andrew Smith with a tackle on Monty Ball and a loss of 3.
Here's the one thing. If I'm Randy Shannon, I would send them into the locker room and say, open the doors and windows in our locker room. Because if it's hot in there and they go in there, those guys aren't going to want to come out to start the second half.
There's Donna Shalala. Now, she knows something about being in Madison and handling the cold, but you can get spoiled when you move south. Trust me, I know. Back at the 20. 3rd down and long. 3rd and 7. 3 wide receivers set for the Badgers, trying to score here before halftime. Final minute Colzine, oh, that would have been a tough throw to tuck in there. And there's an all-conference play by Brandon Harris.
Well, and they needed it. And Brandon Harris, he's done that all year. He led the ACC in passes defended, and he was right on the spot there, got his hand on the football and knocked it away to force a field goal attempt. Well done.
Philip Welch, 15 out of 22 on the year. He missed the first 3 field goals of the season, but he's gone 15 out of 19 since. This will be a 37-yard attempt to try to stretch the Badger lead. Kick on the way, heading to that O of Orlando, and it's perfect.
Last year, the Big Ten was 1-6. So this is the first outing for a Big Ten team in this bowl season.
Squib kick. Scooped up at the 24. Look out, Cooper. Whoa.
He dropped the ball, didn't he? Oh, he hurt his knee.
Oh, man.
I saw him let go of the football, and he went to grab his right knee and let go of the football.
It was covered by Ray Buchanan, but that's not the key issue here. He really had a nice head of steam after that short kick, scooped it up, had a little bit of a seam. As Todd said, everything came apart, including the ball hitting the ground. As we'll get another look at it right here.
Oh,
damn.
He just planted with that right foot, and the knee kind of buckled inside. No.
It's never a good time, but you get to the end of the season, you're a highly touted tailback. And the field, it's some of the problem could be, as you see the all the divots out on the field. Looks like they're going to try to help him up already, and if that's the case, it might be a good sign. But he's going to need quite a bit of help, I think, to get to the sideline. Yeah, for sure. The #1 tailback, even though he split a lot of time with Javaris James, and now you hear the chants of Coop trying to sort of honor him. The Miami fans came in as their leading ball carrier.
This field has had some use now. The 4 high school games, state playoff games here 2 weeks ago. And of course, this game tonight, and then another game on Friday.
And for all we know, this could have happened on an artificial surface. It's I'm not blaming the field, just showing you the fact that we thought we'd have a little more slipping than we did have. So we'll all cross our fingers for Greg Cooper. Heck of a player. And if they were having troubles before, at least the depth at their tailback position will help them a little bit.
Yeah.
But as far as their psyche right now, you have a guy go down with 7 seconds left in the half. You got to wonder if you're snake bitten a little bit in this ball game so far.
But he got him close enough to take a shot at the end zone here with 7 seconds left. Ja'Cory Harris has the arm to do it.
If he can get rid of it, but he's out of the pack. Now he's running, and he's got a first down, but the half's going to come to an end before they can get another play away. So probably the biggest play of the night for Ja'Cory Harris, who comes up limping at the end of it.
Well, he got that ankle retaped, and then he got taped over the top of the shoe, but you can see it is still bothering him, the left ankle of Ja'Cory Harris. So the right knee of Greg Cooper and the left ankle of Ja'Cory Harris, a major story here at the end of the half for Miami.
Yeah, just a terrible last 20 seconds. Greg Cooper being basically carried to the locker room by his teammates. Ja'Cory Harris, their leader of the offense, limping to the locker room. Meanwhile, John Clay and Wisconsin, I think, can confidently head to their locker room with the lead they've got of 17-7. Here's Holly.
Coach, Ja'Cory Harris doesn't quite look comfortable out there. What has to happen with him to settle down?
Well, as an offense, we got to start getting a chance to move the football. We're not able to run the football like we said. If we're not able to run the football, it's going to be a tough time. So we got to make some adjustments at halftime. Give us a chance and opportunity to get ourselves in some second down and 3, second down and 4, and convert those calls. we're going to miss Greg, but also we got to depend on now J.J. and Damien Berry have to step up. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us, but it'll be a good challenge for them.
Thank you.
It's a problem that they've had all year, having to rotate tailbacks due to injury. They're going to have to rotate them again in the second half to try to come from behind in this Champs Sports Bowl. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Hollerow, and Wisconsin leading Miami as we're just about set to start the third quarter, 17-7. Miami had the first touchdown of the ball game in the opening minutes. Wisconsin was 17 unanswered points over the course of the next two quarters. And Wisconsin will have the ball first as well. Bosher will kick off. We started the game with a apparent kickoff return for touchdown that was negated by a penalty, but Miami scored one play later. Now Wisconsin will get a kick return to open the third quarter. And it's Gilreath from the 5. And Gilreath, nice return, got out to about the 26-yard line. That's where Wisconsin will go to work. And so far, Wisconsin's been very efficient. Tolzien did have one interception, but he went 10 out of 15 for 150 yards. And quite frankly, he's outplayed his counterpart, Ja'Cory Harris from Miami.
He really has, and Wisconsin has done what they've done all year. That's be balanced on offense and be strong against the run on defense. And they shut down the Miami running game. They made them one-dimensional, and you mentioned Tolzien played solid, and they averaged almost 7 yards per offensive play in that first half. And Tolzien kept them off balance with first down passing particularly.
Wisconsin can play Wisconsin football with a 10-point lead. They'll come with the end around to Gilreath, and he's tripped up. Nice play defensively by DeMarcus Van Dyke. A pickup of only about a yard.
We mentioned the balance of Wisconsin offense. There are only 6 teams in major college football that averaged at least 200 yards rushing and 200 yards passing on the season. Wisconsin's one of those 6.
They had 30 yards difference between the pass, 30 yards more passing than rushing, and that's total all season. You don't get it any more balanced than that. They had 89 yards from their star tailback John Clay in the first half, including the 2 3-yard touchdown runs. He's right in there at the tailback spot now and gets the call. Miami waiting for him, only got about 2. Allen Bailey made the stop. Number 57 off the bottom of the pile, probably the best of the front 4 of Miami.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Allen Bailey coming from the backside, and John Clay limping a little bit at the end of that play. Bailey came down the line of scrimmage from the backside defensive end position and made the tackle. And John Clay hobbled a little bit coming to the sideline.
Third down at 7. Zach Brown takes Clay's spot in the Wisconsin backfield. You always think tight end in this situation for the Badgers with those big targets in Graham and Kendricks, who's had a big night. Tolzien got rid of it at the last second and got it to Kendricks, and it's good for a first down.
Boy, you talk about the last second. Eric Moncour, who's only playing on third down in passing situations. He's battled injuries all year. He's going to get to Tolzien, but not before Scott gets it out of his hand.
Wow.
But that is holding it on to the very last second and then getting the first down on the throw.
Kendricks has been huge tonight. That tight end spot, 5 catches, 102 yards, career high for Lance Kendricks. And now Monty Ball with a carry. Let's see if John Clay is going to come back in or not. Again, he limped out after his second carry to start this third quarter. Ball did a nice job spelling him in the first half. A little different size guy, though, 5'11", 225, whereas John Clay's 6'1" and about 252 maybe. He's trying to stay warm over there on the sideline. Meanwhile, second down for the Badgers just outside their own 42-yard line. Fake it to Gilreath again. Ball cut down on the front wall by Vernon. There's a guy that's going to be pretty good. A freshman right now, 6'3", 250. Very active. And it's third down and long.
Now watch him just beat Gabe Carimi. Just stands him up, That's a freshman working on an all Big Ten tackle. And just, you see the importance of leverage for a defensive lineman. Stayed lower than the offensive lineman, got underneath his pads, shed the block, and then made the tackle.
Third down and long. Last time they picked it up with a throw to Kendricks. That's Graham, the bigger target in motion, and now there's motion on the offensive line of Wisconsin as Oglesby came out of his stance, or at least moved. It'll be third and longer.
5 yards from the previous spot. Third down.
When you're 6'7", 330, and you get that momentum leaning back, it's hard to get your balance back again.
Oglesby, this is his first game back after getting both of his knees cleaned out a little bit and scoped. He missed the last 2 games. A valuable guy on that right side, but first game action in a while.
Nick Toon to the bottom of your screen. They're going to throw a screen to Graham, a middle screen to the tight end, and that didn't work very well. And Wisconsin will have to get rid of it. Sharpton's had a nice game at middle linebacker, as he's had, Todd mentioned, back-to-back 12 tackle performances to end the season, and he's been a special one all season long. Second team all conference in the ACC. Nortman, his first punt of the night was a 57-yarder that he dropped at about the 8-yard line, going the other way on this field. We'd like to get more of the same this attempt here in the third quarter. Not a good kick this time, out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. Well, Miami trailing by 10. Ja'Cory Harris has been kind of a question mark. We'll talk with Holly about how he feels and his offense on the field when we come back. Tough night for the sophomore quarterback, Ja'Cory Harris. He's been hassled and sacked by Schofield. He's been rushed and crumpled in the pocket, losing his headgear in that case, turning his ankle, we think, on that play as he limped to the locker room. Longest play from scrimmage for Miami was his scramble right before they headed into the locker room at halftime.
And his longest pass was only 16 yards, and he was third in the nation with pass plays over 25 yards coming into the game.
He's going to try one here, and he throws this way over the sideline as Ryan Mallett and Case Keenum, 2 guys that have had as many, in this case more, 25-yard pass plays as Todd was talking about. He's slow getting up again. Holly?
Well, guys, Ja'Cory Harris actually injured his left leg when he got sacked. Remember when his helmet popped off? He came over the sideline, was pointing to the inside of his left knee and his left ankle. At halftime, I've noticed they put on a black sleeve to give that knee some extra support, and they've heavily taped the left ankle. But that time, one of his big offensive linemen just now rolled into him again. He is definitely getting beat up a little bit tonight.
I guess they're going to need more tape the way things are going right now for him. He's going to try a shovel pass, and it's incomplete. Even though Wisconsin's going to chase it down. Borland, one of the guys along with J.J. Watt that blew that one up.
And here's the problem for Miami is their backup quarterback is a true freshman, A.J. Highsmith, who was probably just going to redshirt before the season started. But they had 2 redshirt freshman quarterbacks that decided to transfer on the same day a week before the season opened.
That's after losing one guy to a transfer to Purdue.
Right. Robert Marve transferred at the end of the bowl game last year. And so A.J. Highsmith has only been involved in about 8 or 10 snaps this whole season.
Harris, pressure coming from Borland, throwing deep, man out there and overshot him again. It was LaRon Byrd who had a step back there. But again, Borland coming around that corner, and Ja'Cory Harris.
Well, that's a breakdown by Miami. Nobody even blocked Borland. He was lined up as a defensive end. He was on the end of the line of scrimmage. It's not even a blitz. And nobody picks him up. No back, no lineman. You can't do that. You can't turn a guy loose on the backside of your quarterback and let him hit him like that.
Rosher. And Gilreath calls fair catch. I don't know if it touched a Wisconsin player. He's going to scoop it up to make sure, I guess. Well, we got a little scuffle going on way back by the 10-yard line. No flags. Tough night for number 12, talking to his offensive coordinator. They got to get something straightened out or Miami's going to be in trouble. Cool night in Orlando. Wisconsin's been warm enough to have a 10-point lead with 10 minutes and change remaining in the third quarter.
Right now, I think the biggest thing that Wisconsin has to be careful with is taking care of the football. The Miami offense is struggling, but the Miami defense is not playing too poorly. But if Wisconsin helps them with turnovers and gives Miami a short field, this game could turn in a hurry.
Monty Ball. Nice run. John Clay still trying to warm up on the sideline. Of course, John was most of the first half as we take a look at our flow of the game brought to you by Flow TV. He's flowing to the corner with some nice blocks for one of his 2 3-yard touchdowns. He ripped off a long one as well that set up his other 3-yard score. This one's 52 yards for Big John Clay. There's the second touchdown to help to a 17-7 lead. But right now, Monty Ball playing in there as Clay limped off earlier in this quarter. Here's Ball, got a block in front. Monty Ball off to the races.
Boy, great block by Gabe Karimi. And Travis Frederick pulling out in front of it as well. Karimi got the kick-out block, and Frederick was the lead-through guy. Watch these two blocks. Watch Karimi get the kick out, and Frederick is going to pull out and lead down the field. There's the kick, and here comes the lead through, and Ball does a nice job of just running behind both of those blocks for a big gain.
There they are. 3:25 and 3:10. That'll kick you out once in a while. And now Wisconsin using the clock and the ground game to grind it out here. Holly?
Well, guys, John Clay has been complaining of some pain in that left leg and lower foot. He's been over here trying to walk it off, but they haven't really treated him or rewrapped him or anything like that. Did you notice some tape around his left thigh? But he had that in the first half because of a wardrobe malfunction. He ripped his pants, but as far as I can tell, that is not the problem right now. It's definitely something bothering him with his leg.
Luckily, we haven't had one of those up here tonight or down there on the field other than John's pants. We just use gaffer's tape up here for everything. Duct tape is our main source in our booth. Across the middle is Toon, and Nick gets down to about the 36-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with Scott Tolzien tonight. I mean, he's been efficient. He's gotten rid of the ball. He hasn't held on to it. He knows what he wants to do with the football. I think he understands his game. He understands what his role is, and he's done a nice job of hitting some key passes in the ball game tonight, and for the most part, taking care of the football.
Here's the third down and short that they've been very effective with this year. We showed you that statistic earlier. They're going to go shotgun, though, and they're going to throw for this one. Maybe. He got rid of it, but it's incomplete. Graham looking for a flag, doesn't get it. McCarthy was covering him, and now it's fourth down and short. And this might have been a decision already to try and take a shot there if they were going to think about going on fourth down. They're going to try a long field goal.
Real long.
Yeah. Welch on the season. 57 is career long against Fresno State, so he's got the leg for this.
Wisconsin's calling a timeout. I'm a little surprised that they would attempt this field goal.
Well, maybe they won't. They'll call timeout and think about it. Well, a reminder for you, ABC will throw both the Rose Bowl game and the City BCS National Championship game your way. First, New Year's Day, Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl game presented by City. Then Thursday, January 7th, Colt McCoy and the Longhorns taking on the Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram and the Crimson Tide of Alabama in the City BCS National Championship game, both coming up on ABC.
Really looking forward to both those games, too. I think the Rose Bowl, to me, is a tremendous contrast in styles. You know, the power defense of Ohio State, kind of a conservative offense, but you've got that X factor in Terrell Pryor, and then the razzle-dazzle offense of Oregon and Jeremy Masoli. I think that's going to be a great battle between their offense and Ohio State's defense, and then the championship game. Just two of the best teams all the way through the whole season.
They've been perfect so far. Well, they changed their mind as Todd thought they might. Wisconsin, and Northman will punt. Trying to get it down inside the 15 somewhere, and he got much better than that. Second time tonight he's dropped one in a great spot for the Wisconsin defense, and that smile, that tells you you're doing your job. And so far special teams have been good for Wisconsin, with the exception of the opening kickoff and an end around. That's really all the offense in Miami's been able to muster so far.
And that was really a good decision by Brett Bielema right there. I mean, he used a timeout, changed his mind, and I think he realized, you know what, our defense is really playing well. They've got Miami's offense locked up. They've got Ja'Cory Harris out of rhythm, out of sync. So why give them good field position? Let's pin them back there as far as we can and play good defense.
10-point lead. There's only 22 minutes left in the ball game, and Wisconsin owned the time of possession in the first half, and they've kept it and extended it now to an 11-point cushion. Harris going deep on first down. Man there. This one he's got down to the 41-yard line to Tommy Streeter. Finally some life in the Canes offense.
Well, that's what they've done all year. I mean, this guy had 34 pass plays of 25 yards or more for the season. This is the first time they've connected down the field for a big gain. Single coverage, Streeter gets inside the defender Brinkley, and a beautiful throw by Ja'Cory Harris. It started with protection, and Ja'Cory Harris put the ball where he had to.
Let's see if that can spark Miami now in Wisconsin territory. The pitch slipping was Damian Barry a little bit as he tried to make his cut, and he got about 2 yards. Holly?
Well, guys, Randy Shannon with Miami will tell you the best thing about his quarterback, Ja'Cory Harris, is he never gets frustrated or rattled. But after the last time out and he got sacked yet again, he really started to show some frustration. He kind of went up to one of the offensive linemen like, guys, what is going on? But he came over to the sideline, got positive with them again, but he did explain to his offensive coordinator, hey, when I turn to throw the ball, guys are at my legs. They changed a few things up front. You saw the result, the better protection provided on that long pass play.
No doubt about that. 2nd and 8 here in the gun as Harris. Handoff inside. Not much. Loss of maybe a yard for Javaris James. That's been a problem is their ground game's not working, and now they got Greg Cooper, who got hurt in the first half. He had the touchdown run on the second play of the game, but other than that, no ground game for the Canes. Harris. This one's complete to Graham again.
Yeah, they're running that hurry up between 2nd and 3rd down, kind of with the hopes of catching Wisconsin in the middle of a personnel change. And that time, Wisconsin got their guys off the field, and they were still able to hold them short of the first down. And Miami will go for it to get on 4th down.
4th down and a long 3. We'll call it 4, in fact. Play of the game so far. If you're a Miami fan, it would be huge to pick it up and keep the drive alive. You're cheering for the Badgers. The defense stiffens here to be the 2nd time they stopped them on 4th down. Harris, plenty of time. High, though, and incomplete. Intended again for his big target, Jimmy Graham. So the Badgers take over again with 5:07 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Still Wisconsin with a 10-point advantage. Not a spot you want to start your offense as Damian Barry standing in the end zone. Hurricanes will re-huddle in that end zone. And after the great punt, working from their own 1-yard line. Down 10 with 8:20 to play. Ja'Cory Harris looks like he's changing things up at the line. He hasn't done much of that tonight. Damian Barry trying to get to the edge. He did. Barry, nice run all the way out to the 25.
And another 15.
Down, way out of bounds on the Wisconsin sideline.
Niles Brinkley showed some frustration. First, he gave up the edge, and then he added to the problem by getting the late hit out of bounds after the play. He gave up contain, and then he got 15 more.
Oh, and Damian Barry gets all the way to the sideline, and all of a sudden he collapses.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense number 26. The penalty was 15 yards added to the end of the run. First down.
And I have no idea as Barry hopefully just cramps.
Well, first of all, Ja'Cory Harris late into the play clock changed the play. And it goes to the outside run, and Damian Barry breaks contain. Brinkley lost contain, and at the end of the play, here's the penalty. So it was a nice change at the line of scrimmage by Ja'Cory Harris, and then Damian Barry with a nice run out away from their end zone. And again, I go back to the play that Brandon Harris made with the strip to stop another touchdown from Wisconsin. There's 8 minutes left, and they're only down 10. If Miami could get a score, this game is far from being over, only down 10.
Harris on first down. Wanted to go deep, ball is out. Wisconsin's got it. And it's J.J. Watt. I think Staley might have been the guy that got a hand on it in that cramped pocket.
I think it was Schofield that first closed the pocket. I mean, these two ends have been a great tandem tonight. Here's Schofield coming for the sack. Staley's there also. The ball comes out right at the feet of J.J. Watt, and he says, I guess I'll fall on it. Boy, this Miami offensive line has had a very difficult time with the front of the Wisconsin Badgers. This defense has been a legitimate defense tonight. They've had good numbers all year, 18th in the nation in total defense. And they have really throttled a very explosive Miami offense tonight.
So even though it seemed because Miami has sputtered so badly, that's actually their first turnover. But the fourth sack by Wisconsin gives them the ball back with 7:49 to play. And right back in command now, up by 10 because they've got their hands on the football. And here's John Clay. Well, he was about one guy away from hurtling over everybody and heading to the end zone. Let's check in with Holly.
Guys, the Miami fans have started booing this Miami offensive line, and they have been trying everything. Just a reminder, their left tackle is out. So Orlando Franklin had to slide to left tackle. Brandon Washington, a freshman, was at left guard. He was getting handled, so they made a change. They brought in Harlan Gunn, the right guard, who's a sophomore, a little more experienced, put him at left guard and let Joe Figueroa, who's out 8 starts, go to right guard. That hasn't worked. Guys, they're trying to do everything they can over here. Nothing seems to work tonight.
Holly sounds like the offensive line coach down there, doesn't she? Yeah, it's been a mismatch and a mismatch tonight as well. Clay, first down, almost broke another one out to the 20.
You know, just to follow up on the point that Holly made, when they made the switch in the last regular season game, when Jason Fox was out and they moved Franklin out to left tackle and Washington into left guard, they played against a good defense in South Florida, but they ran the football. They had 240 yards rushing against South Florida. They've not been able to run the ball at all tonight against Wisconsin, and when they got one-dimensionalized and had to throw, the Wisconsin defensive front took control of the game.
And they weren't running well even before Greg Cooper got hurt, though he had the first touchdown of the game on a 16-yard gallop. That's the only points the Canes have been able to put up. 6.5 to go now. Wisconsin on the drive. Play with both hands around that football again, just driving guys for about 4 more yards. Ja'Cory Harris, Schofield getting him there. Borland that time. Then in the pile at the end of a scramble. Lost his helmet on this one. We think that's where he hurt his ankle. And then he got blasted again trying to get a ball downfield. I mean, it's just been one thing after the other tonight for Ja'Cory Harris. There will be better nights, young man. We know that because we've seen them from you already, but tonight's not one of them.
Well, no quarterback likes pressure. I mean, you can go right down the line at any level of football. No quarterback likes to be harassed and likes to be knocked on the ground every time you throw the football. And for Ja'Cory Harris, he was never able to get in a groove tonight because of the constant pressure of this Wisconsin defense.
Coming up when we're down, SportsCenter will follow us. We'll be on ESPN News for a post-game extra. ESPN360.com has a trophy ceremony. Holly will be in on that live. It's all coming up when we are finished here in about 5 minutes and change. Scott Tolzien has had an excellent night. One pass that was batted in the air and intercepted. Otherwise, he's been the model of efficiency at quarterback for Wisconsin. And for a position that they were wondering about at the beginning of the season, they don't have to wonder going into next year with him. Here he is, bootleg keeper, and down to about the 11-yard line.
I'll tell you, he's been impressive tonight. I mean, he's a very conscientious guy. You know, his offensive coordinator, Paul Chryst, said up until this year, he's kind of had, almost to a fault, has been a perfectionist. You know, wants to do everything right and wants to make sure everything is in order. And this year he kind of just relaxed a little bit more and started to let things happen and played a little bit more relaxed, and that's how he won the job in the summer, and has gotten better and better as the year has gone on.
4th and 1. This could just about cap things for Wisconsin. And they're going to take the timeout. So Tolzien will come on over, talk things over with Brett Bielema and the coaching staff of the Badgers. Wisconsin looking for a 10-win season. So was Randy Shannon. And right now, at least, with 4 minutes and 6 seconds remaining, looks like one team's going to be happy and have that 10th win. And for Wisconsin, this would be kind of getting a big burden off their back in not beating a ranked team this year. And they go back, I think, the last 8 times that they played a ranked team, they haven't been able to come out with a win. So Brett Bielema, his first year, went 12-1, right. And almost nobody's ever done it that good. They slipped a little bit in the last couple of years, got down to 7-6. I'll tell you what, 10-3 is going to look pretty nice in Madison.
Absolutely, and this is a pretty young team. I mean, they lose some key players, obviously, in Graham, the tight end, Schofield, the defensive end, but they return a lot of key players, a lot of key contributors in their skill positions. And you know, not only is this big for Wisconsin, it's big for the Big Ten.
Right.
The first Big Ten team to come out into the bowl season against a ranked opponent.
Make a statement.
And make a statement for the conference.
Philip Welch going to come in and try to make it 20-7. 29-yard field goal attempt from the right hash mark. Low snap. The holder did a nice job in getting up there. Chris Maragos to set it up for him. Welch knocks it home. 4 minutes left. Wisconsin now has stretched its lead to 13. There's some of our fans. Some young fans, some old fans, some happy Wisconsin fans right there. Philip Welch to kick off. Not so happy on the Miami section.
Well, only 67 yards of offense in the second half for Miami. 3 first downs, turnover, a dominant performance by this Wisconsin team.
Mike James at about the 2-yard line. Barring a long kick return, it's going to be a long way back for Miami. They don't get it. They got it only the 20, and Chris Maragos, one of the captains, made the stop. Well, Miami started 2-0. They had a really tough schedule. Beat Florida State in the game we did, then Georgia Tech. Then they got hammered by Virginia Tech. 3 straight wins, though. Oklahoma, FAMU, and UCF. And a couple of losses, killers in overtime to Clemson in that North Carolina game where Ja'Cory Harris had his worst game of the year. Nonetheless, first 9-win season since '05, and the best season so far for Randy Shannon. But unfortunately, it looks like it's going to end on a sour note with a loss to Wisconsin unless something drastic happens. Maragos was injured on that play on the tackle on the kick coverage. And Chris, an interesting story, transferred and walked on at Wisconsin, and now he's one of the 4 captains and one of the leaders of the defense.
That's his family. Call them the 21 Club. There's about 50 of them, all wearing 21 jerseys, and obviously anxiously watching what's going to go on here.
Look of concern on moms and dads and brothers. And Holly?
Well, guys, you know, they have come from all over the United States as well as Italy, these members of the 21 Club. They have 50 people here tonight. They've come from Michigan, Italy, Wisconsin, Florida. They all came to honor this young man who, as you said, started out as a walk-on at Western Michigan at wide receiver, then came to Wisconsin. He consulted with Jim Leonard, another famous walk-on from the Badgers' great history, and really worked his way into this team. This is just his first full season as a starter. He was a wide receiver, and not only that, he was voted a team captain this year. This man has truly made a tremendous career for himself at Wisconsin, all through effort and hard work.
Had the interception in overtime against Fresno State. that ended that game. Couple interceptions against Michigan State. Led the club in that capacity. And he's okay. He's a tough guy. Walked off on his own. Just under 4 minutes to play. Pressure coming on Harris. Crossing pattern. Nice open field tackle. Wow, by O'Brien Schofield. It's a 250-pound senior out of Great Lakes, Illinois. Watch this play.
Yeah, one of the few times he doesn't rush the passer. He drops into coverage and makes the tackle for no big gain, a very little gain. Plays like a linebacker on that play.
Consensus first team all Big Ten. O'Brien Schofield. Another one of the captains, Ian Maragos on the defense. And we're down at 3:26 as they move the chains.
10 at the 31-yard line.
4 wideouts for Ja'Cory Harris. Trying to make something happen to possibly get back in the game. That won't be it. Little jump pass attempted to Javaris James, way short.
You know, you want to win a game like this for both of these teams. We've already said about winning your 10th game, having momentum going into your off-season program, going into next spring. Both these teams have a lot of good young players coming back. I mean, Miami is a very talented young football team that will be good again next year. You want to take that step this year, and Wisconsin, it looks like they're going to take that final step, and Miami won't. But both of these teams are going to be solid next year. This is, you take a look at some of the key guys that Wisconsin loses.
You know, and Brett Bielema says we don't lose a lot in numbers, but we lose a lot in value. That's what he calls these guys, the valuable guys. You're always going to miss your seniors and some of those, but this guy will be back. John Clay says he'll be back. Kendricks will be back. So the basis for the offense is there without a doubt for Wisconsin. Their defense is tough and really been tough tonight. High pass. Oh, what a catch by Leonard Hankerson. They could have used about 5 more of those so far tonight. I thought that one was sailing into an interception in the secondary. Watch this grab. Oh, man. You know, Aaron Henry was just waiting back there, camped under that thing to get the interception. Harris, deep outs, got another one complete. This one, LaRon Byrd.
And again, remember, Aaron Henry is in there right now because of Maragos being out with the injury. And Aaron Henry has been on the sideline most of the night other than special teams. So Maragos not patrolling the middle of that defense right now, and a big play for Miami.
Quick strike, and you never know. We're down at 2 minutes. Harris flares it out. Nice throw. Javaris James getting out of bounds and getting the first down inside the 30 to the 29.
Miami with 2 timeouts right there. You can see called one a little while ago.
Did they not get the change moved right, or am I looking at something wrong on the far side? That was a positive yardage gain, and now they have it at 2nd down and 10. I'm missing something here. There we go. That's better. Thank you. I don't know that they ever got the change move from the previous play, to be honest with you. That's my best guess. As I look down there, something looked funny. On the previous play, the throw to LaRon Byrd, I don't think they ever moved the chains. Then they threw the swing pass out, and all of a sudden, the chain wasn't out in front of the guy, Javaris James, after the catch. They've got it straightened out, I think, now. And here's a quick out and another first down. So all of a sudden, Miami comes to life in the final stages of the 4th quarter, trying to make something happen here. They get a touchdown and an onside kick. Ja'Cory Harris has hit his last 5. Ja'Cory Harris has hit his last 6, but that was a very short gain. Collier, he got hammered by McFadden on that crossing pattern.
Miami used their second timeout here.
So down to 127, but also down to the 14-yard line of Wisconsin. Miami, we talked about how tough their schedule was, especially at the opening stages the first month or so of this season. How about Ohio State and Pittsburgh in week 2 and 3? So their non-conference schedule, a tough one.
Yeah. Well, you know, Randy Shannon said about his team this year when they asked him about that schedule, he said, you know what, we won it. We like it. We'll know how good we are. We'll find out what we're made of after that first month. And they did. They were 3-1, sitting pretty good. And then they had some injuries that took a little bit of a toll on them. And, but they'll have that same kind of challenge in 2010 early on.
2nd and 6. More importantly, 1:27 and 1 timeout left for Miami. Harris going to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Collier. 14-yard strike, and there's life, or at least some wind left in the Hurricanes. I know the folks that were booing, as Holly was talking about earlier, and those that are out in the parking lot are going, where was this a little bit earlier? Bosher in for the point after. And it's good.
Well, one of the key things about that whole drive that was different than what happened the rest of the game, no pressure on Ja'Cory Harris.
Yeah.
Wisconsin did not get near the quarterback on this entire possession, and Ja'Cory Harris was able to see, set his feet, and make accurate throws. And how important was that last field goal that Wisconsin was able to tack on, because that makes Miami have to score a touchdown.
The game finally slowed down a little bit for Ja'Cory Harris, and so did the clock. Enough to make it 20-14. So Wisconsin will get their very best out there on the front wall. Matt Bosher will be looking for the best kick of his year. Ja'Cory Harris, 9 out of 10 on that drive to get the touchdown. A 79-yard march in 10 plays. Baragos, who was shaken up earlier, is out there with a good hands team. So is Borland, so is Toon, so is Kendricks and Graham. Anderson.
All those 14 tight ends they have.
Yep, they got them all in one spot almost. So here is the play of the night. Wisconsin recovers it. They'll win. Miami gets it. We got football left. High kick, and it's still loose. Miami's got it, I think. They do. Bosher, the kicker.
Well, it was a great kick, first of all, by Bosher. Up high, and it was not fielded cleanly by Wisconsin. They had the first shot at it, and the ball got knocked around and got fumbled forward by Baragos, and Bosher comes up with it. And now, all of a sudden, Wisconsin, who got a little complacent on that last defensive series, is right back on the field and has to generate a little pressure on the quarterback.
Look at this crowd. They're just both sides in shock right now. Harris flushed out of the pocket and dropped by J.J. Watt.
Yeah, see, that's what they didn't have the last possession. They double-teamed Schofield on this play, and they left single blocking on Watt, and he got the tackle.
Hankerson's going to trot out here as fast as he can wide to the left side. Ja'Cory Harris is going back the other way, and it is almost intercepted by Jay Valai. That would have ended it. 55 seconds left. Miami one timeout. 3rd down and a whole bunch coming up.
Once again, Maragos was out there for the onside kick, but he's not out there in the defense here at the end of the ball game. And he's kind of the quarterback of the defense in the back end. He is not in the game because of the leg injury. And so they're going to have to do it without him.
Hankerson goes out. Travis Benjamin, who's always dangerous, is in there, but he hasn't touched the ball all night, I don't think. Harris scrambling around, trying to buy himself some time. And goes to Travis Benjamin, out of bounds.
Borland with a little pressure, forced the throw to the sideline. And again, the whole possession, you said Jacory Harris was 9 for 10, no pressure. Now, just about every play so far in this possession, there has been pressure from Wisconsin again. And it's a little tougher for the Hurricane offense.
Well, you see his left foot came airborne as he was making the grab. Wisconsin facing a Miami team with a 4th down and 14. They need to get to the Badger 49 to keep the football game alive. Harris throws in and out of the hands of Collier. Wisconsin will take over.
He had his man. If he throws it outside of him, it's a completion and a 1st down. He threw it behind his intended receiver, Collier, and Collier tried to reach back for it. Watch the throw. Instead of being out in front of his receiver on the out route, it's behind him, and he's not able to plant his foot and come back and make the catch.
Devin Smith gave him just a little pop to make sure he couldn't hold it at the end of the play, and you see the jubilation on the Badger sideline.
And did you see that huge piece of turf come up when he tried to plant his foot and come back for the football? It was not a good throw by Jacory Harris.
Bolzine will take a knee. And we're under a half minute. So the Wisconsin Badgers, who have made this almost their home, this stadium, for the last 5 years, and they mobbed their head coach after an embarrassing loss to Florida State last year in this game. They have come back and taken care of the number 15 team in the country tonight and do it impressively. Champ Sports Bowl champions for 2009, the Badgers of Wisconsin. Heck of a football game right down to the very end, and right down to an onside kick, and then right down to a 4th and long, and Wisconsin holds, and a very wet Brett Bielema is with Holly Rowe.
Coach Bielema, first of all, what was going through your mind when Miami opened up this game with that long kickoff return?
You know what? They're a very good football team. 2 good teams competed tonight. Thought our guys played really well, and our defense played their tails off. How
do you feel your team responded after all of that?
You know what? People all year long, going into last season, didn't think a lot about this team, and our guys battled back to get to 10 wins. You can tell your man, Mark May, he said we wouldn't get to 3 or 4 wins. I think 10's a lot more than that. And I know that, as this game moves on, every team we lost to last year is back on our schedule. So we're excited about this opportunity. Great respect to Miami, but this is a great thing for our program.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely.
Brett Bielema with his lucky red windbreaker wins the Champ Sports Bowl tonight, 20-14. The Badgers are victorious.